Hello and welcome. This is the Market Trap. I am Agam Vakil. Let's take a look at how today's session has panned out and what the markets have done through the course of the week. For now, however, the Nifty has closed below the mark of 11,900, and that could be coming in as a concern. Now, there are all sorts of concerns with respect to the markets, but for now, we did see some advancement. And even though Nifty advanced by around 0.2% in today's day of trade, we did see strong recovery in the likes of Bharti, Infratel, and Airtel. State Bank of India, among some of the relatively heavier weighted names, also advanced in trade. On the other hand, we did have weakness in Hero Motor Corp, Indian Oil Corp, as along with BPCL and Maruti Suzuki declining in trade. But let's talk about the broader markets then, and what were the stocks which actually stood out in trade as far as the broader markets are concerned. We should have the Nifty 500. Vodafone Idea making a considerable recovery, and that's up as much as 24%. We had the likes of Corporation Bank also advanced by quite a bit, along with something like a Central Bank of India or an IIFL Finance. So a lot of companies, banking and non-banking from the financial sector. Fortis Healthcare, on the other hand, declining by around 8%. And of course, this is largely with respect to the Singh brothers along the Daiichi case. Arvind Fashions, Den Network, Indiabulls Integrated Services, all declining in trade. But let's take a look at what the markets have done through the course of the week, and at least the benchmarks came off marginally, but once again it was essentially Bharti Airtel, and on the back of today's up move that it landed up as the top gainer on the Nifty on the weekly basis. TCS, Reliance Industries, Bharti Airtel, along with something like a Cipla, so some heavyweights out there were managing to keep markets in check, the fall in check. But of course Vedanta, Hindalco, along with something like an Adani Ports or IndusInd Bank, weighing down on the indices. And coming down to the NSE 500 as well, we have EID Parry, IIFL Finance, and AU Small Finance advancing. And on the losing end, we have Reliance Capital, Suzlon Energy, along with Reliance Infra, weighing down on the broader markets. That said, let's also take a look at all the factors that have actually determined, to a certain extent, how markets are played out, and of course the economy as well. So let's start off with Monday, and we did have India's industrial output, which contracted by as much as 4.3%, and this is the most in 8 years. So this, of course, is one of the many startling figures that we will talk about. But let's not forget, Lupin saw a little bit of an up move after it decided that it will sell its Japanese subsidiary Kyowa Pharma, and which is when the funds will be used in reducing debt. Of course, we also know that Maharashtra has come under President's rule, and within the next 6 months we may have another outcome. But for now, this is the situation. But as I was talking about the economy, and the CPI inflation has been at the highest in 16 months, and this is largely on account of the prolonged monsoon or unseasonal rains that the country saw. But that's not the only one which we're watching out for. But Bombay High Court allows Diwan Housing Finance to make payments to lenders, and that, of course, boded well for the stock for at least the time being. But a cumulative loss of around 74,000 crores to be bared by Airtel as well as Vodafone Idea after provisioning for government dues, and that really didn't set well for some of these telecom companies. Government will also seek to reduce its stake in Indian Oil Corp below 51%. So that's, of course, the other big talking point as far as markets are concerned. Aurobindo Pharma was in focus, and that saw a drop of as much as 9% on Thursday. Why? The US FDA has issued a Form 483 with 14 observations in its Hyderabad facility, a very important development with respect to Aurobindo Pharma. And of course, the Supreme Court has also dismissed Rafale review plea, as well as refers Sabarimala review to a larger bench. So that's as far as some of your important court cases are concerned. Plenty others things to keep an eye on. Of course, WPI also came in at a 40-month low, and that, of course, is also something that we are going to take into cognizance as far as the economy goes. But the Supreme Court has set aside the NCLT order allowing ArcelorMittal to complete the deal, and it It's a developing story when it comes to ArcelorMittal as well as its interest in SR Steel. So we'll be watching out for that as well. And let's not forget, finally, we also have the Supreme Court holding Singh Brothers and Fortis Healthcare guilty of contempt in Daiichi case, and that's possibly one other reason why we did see Fortis Healthcare under pressure in today's day of trade. Of course, the top loser on the NSE 500. That said, as we move into the next week, what levels can we watch out for based on the options and the way open interest has panned out in some of these option strikes? So we still have maximum open interest in the 11,600 put, even though we have seen some more accumulation of late in the 11,500 put. Well, we're expecting the Nifty to largely be within this range, at least as far as the lower end is concerned. On the higher end is a 12,000 call, which is hands down the one with the maximum open interest. And we're going to keep an eye on this 400-point range. It's just 2 weeks for expiry. So, well, it will be crucial as to see whether or not some of these lower end ranges break. That said, we'll be watching out for that. But what else are we keeping an eye on when it comes to key events as we move into next week? And of course, right at the top, starting off with, well, the Aramco IPO, which will begin and will open up for subscription on Sunday. So keep an eye on that one. We have the Winter Parliament, which will win the session, which will convene in the Parliament. And moreover, we'll also be watching out for, well, Justice S.A. Bobde, who will be taking the oath as the Chief Justice of India as well. So keep an eye on that particular event as well. Moving on, we have the FOMC minutes, which will be released on Wednesday, and some possible implications as far as the Federal Reserve rate trajectory is concerned going forward. And of course, that among many others, we're also keeping an eye on Tata Motors to hold the extra general meeting on fundraising. So it'll be an important day for Tata Motors and well, potential implications for the company and the stock price. So, well, plenty of other things to keep an eye on, but those are some of the most important factors that you can watch out for as we move into trade next week. And on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.
So people, when they invest in the